Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 10 of Clappercast. I'm Sean,
I'm Burke.
and we are here today celebrating double digits in our episode count.
Woo!
So, go us. That's pretty awesome.
And it's St. Patty's Day today.
So, wear your green, drink your alcohol, have a good time.
Have your alcohols.
Yes, it's very important, especially on a Sunday when it's St. Patrick's Day. So,
Yeah, it was pretty cool yesterday that the Bruins had notorious Conor McGregor drop the puck.
yeah, I saw the little bit of a locker room pep talk he gave the Bruins. Walks right into the locker room, steps all over the logo.
Yeah, good luck. I saw a tweet from somebody said good luck telling him not to step on
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
Pretty funny.
who on that team would stand the best chance against him?
Chara?
I have to think so. I mean, are we saying only? I guess the other condition is can only one person at a time attack him.
No, everybody. It's fair game, I think.
It's got to be like a video game where the enemies come in waves, so he can only
Yeah.
one at a time.
Horde mode.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if there's going to be a place for him to do that, it's Boston.
Yep.
I guess Chicago would work too.
Honorary mention to Philly. It's
Yeah.
the whole personality thing.
It's pretty cool though.
Good exposure for the sport. I mean,
Yeah.
he's an untapped. He's a bit of an untapped market for getting hockey fans.
Yeah, I know. He did a opening day pitch, or not opening day, but a first pitch of some game in the MLB last year. I think might have been the Yankees or something. I can't remember, but it's pretty cool.
And then, of course, we saw Brad Marchand do that strut thing he does,
Yeah, that
whatever it is.
weird strut walk where he swings his arms wildly after he scored the OT winner.
And
pretty cool.
of course, of everybody who would have the chance to do that on that night, it's Brad Marchand who immediately pulls it off perfectly. So
He's
shout out to him.
insane in overtime, by the way. Brad Marchand. He just scores all the time. He's so deadly in OT.
It's just he's so good.
Yeah, I guess it's probably because he's good on the penalty kill, and
Yeah.
he's got power play time. So
He's got kind of everything you need. Like he's got the speed, he's got the shot, he's got the strength. Like he's got the hands. Like it's perfect.
quick shot.
And I imagine he plays with Bergeron a lot too, which means they have the puck all the time.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And make sure everybody goes and gets drinks that are food coloring
Yes.
in them
Dump
tonight.
a bunch of food coloring into your whatever it is.
Gotta have those green peas. So
Wake up the next morning thinking you're going to die.
yeah. What is this? Yeah. So a few things we wanted to bring up this week.
So yeah, let's go straight into another wild card spot update. I think playoff race is heating up.
Yeah, for sure.
Teams are starting to get eliminated. Tampa's still the only team to clinch. I think probably a couple teams getting close though,
Yeah,
especially
probably.
in the West.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll start is in the West, and for right now, the Pacific Division is mostly set. I don't think there's much of a competition for the division spots, so I won't bother mentioning them. But in the Central Division, St. Louis is currently at 81 points, which puts them 2 points ahead of the first wild card, which is Dallas at 79, so they can take that. And Arizona's in the second wild card spot with 78 points right now.
I hope they stay there.
That's quite the story.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was nobody on their team has more than 30 points or something.
One person does.
Yeah. Who
That's-
is that?
Is it Galchenyuk?
Yeah, I mean, he was hurt for a little while,
Yeah.
so I don't know. But just kind of everybody's contributing.
it's scoring by committee.
Yeah.
They've got 6 or 7 10-goal scorers. Nobody, I think it's Galchenyuk has the most with 17 now, I think.
Wow.
I think he overtook Richardson yesterday.
Yeah, Richardson.
Yeah, leading goal scorer Brad Richardson. Like, who would have thought that?
Yeah.
Who would even, you could tell, Elliot Friedman said this yesterday, if you had told him that, yesterday, he still wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That Brad Richardson is leading a team in scoring after 71 games with 16 goals. That's absurd.
And everybody's hurt all the time.
Yeah. So every season we end up with one team that's just this hard-working squad that somehow stumbles into the playoffs on effort. Like we had Colorado that one year under Patrick Waugh, and we had Calgary with Bob Hartley.
Yeah, just firing on all cylinders. Everybody's chipping in where
Yeah.
they can, and I don't know if they're a team that rolls all four lines, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
I mean, they basically have 4 fourth lines.
Yeah, so
Really.
a team of like second, third line guys.
Yeah, and they're making it work,
Yeah.
which is, good for them. Like, it's been 7 years since they've been in the playoffs.
Yeah, but
So-
quick shout out to Connor McDavid for making Oliver Ekman-Larsson look like a pylon last night.
God, yeah. See, it's too many last names. It slows you down.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't have a hyphenated name.
Yeah,
That's why Nuge is so slow, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
No, but that was like Ekman Larson is a unreal defenseman. He's fast. He's good on the puck, and McDavid just went right past him.
Yeah, he just flew by.
Like, I don't know if he just got him on the turnaround or what, but
Caught him flat-footed.
yeah,
Looked like.
that was amazing.
Yeah. don't downplay the speed of McDavid.
Yeah,
It's gonna
so
beat you.
every single time too,
Yeah.
unless you're catching him at the end of like a 10-minute shift.
Or unless you haul him down, there's no penalty call.
Yeah,
when that
unless you're
happens.
like PK Subban and just kind of like hook him and water ski behind him for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. So how else is the race looking?
Yeah. So after Arizona, we've got Minnesota. They're now in the first spot out of the wild card at 76. Chicago is at 73. Colorado 72. Edmonton 71. So I mentioned those teams just because stranger things have happened. It's still 6-7 points in 11 games. So if a whole bunch of teams decide to go 0-11, then someone could sneak up
I know Minnesota's been struggling recently. And
after their
Boudreaux-
guarantee.
Yeah, Boudreaux has guaranteed them a playoff spot. So I don't know if that's going to happen.
It's gonna
but
be close. It's gonna come down to the end here.
They're always in that middle area. They're just mediocre.
Remember Calgary from like 2006 to 2014, where they were
Same
just like they
idea.
were fighting for the 8th spot every single year. They never did great, but they never actually got the draft picks they needed to rebuild. So they just
Yeah.
kind of like stuck around in mediocrity for a while.
Yeah, exact same.
And I mean, if Minnesota misses the playoffs, is Boudreaux gonna get fired? Is this kind of the end? After,
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so, especially after that guarantee and
Very
his
true.
comments about like what's been going on with the general manager.
they've been in conflict.
Well, when they traded for Kevin Fiala and they got rid of what's his name?
Granlund.
Granlund, yeah. Boudreaux made a comment saying like, let's see if this hype is all real or something about Fiala.
It's kind of like a passive aggressive remark there.
Yeah. Like, you gave away my best scorer.
Yeah, for Kevin Fiala.
Yeah.
To be fair though, Fiala's been doing okay. I think
Yeah, he has.
he's been
but
doing better than we anticipated, but
I just think there's might be something there to a bit of a rift between
Yeah.
management and coaching.
and I guess too on that, Boudreaux has been giving more like sarcastic interview answers in the last few weeks, couple months here.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of always been like that, but yeah, he's definitely
Maybe they're just getting more publicity now that he's supposed to be upset.
seems like there's a lot more sound bites of him, like that fire thing. You know, I'll sleep through the fire alarm,
Yeah,
and then how do you stop Patrick Kane? You don't let him play.
yeah.
Just stuff like that.
We're
I
just
don't know.
fed up with answering dumb questions.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of his
Basically.
personality, but I think he'll probably get canned at the end of the season.
It's probably about that time, and with that new GM coming in, making alterations that were supposed to be tweaks, but he's basically dismantling like surrounding core pieces. Well, who's next? It's going to be Boudreaux probably, because how many years has he been there and they haven't really gone past the first round?
Yeah,
They're just kind of sneaking in like a wild card every year and losing.
yeah, the state of hockey needs to be better than
It
that.
needs to be more hockey.
Yeah, I think he'll probably get fired no matter what happens because I don't think they're going to win the cup,
No,
and I don't
I
think
don't
they're
think they got
built
it.
to go past the first round.
no. And
So-
like look at who are their main core players? Is it still Suter and Parisi
Install, I guess.
and Stahl? So they're getting up there in age. They're not going to be
Yeah.
And I mean, Suter, he's still good, and I think he plays a lot, but he's not the defenseman he was 5 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, they have some younger D-men now, but I think those contracts are a bit of albatrosses, so we'll
They're
see
kinda
what
stuck.
happens with them. But it feels like they're kind of stuck where they are forever. They're in like purgatory
Yeah, great way to
of
put it.
either 7th, 8th seed or miss playoffs by a
8 point.
C hair.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the writing's kind of on the wall for Boudreaux here. They probably want somebody new. I don't know
think
who
so.
that will be, though.
Yeah, there's always these guys that are in every single coaching discussion from like up and coming coaches from the juniors or from the AHL. So imagine there's probably somebody that will fit what they want.
Yeah, and it's a bit more appealing than like Ottawa would be.
Exactly.
So,
You've got a team with a little bit of a reputation. They're a good franchise. They've had some success in their short time.
yeah. And where did you say Colorado was in the playoff race? Was it
Colorado
71 points?
is 72 points. They're 6 points back with 2 teams in front.
Okay.
So they're not looking too promising.
No.
And I mean, moving up the list one to Chicago at 73, they're only 5 points out.
That's so surprising.
Like I was
After
gonna
the
say,
start that they had,
like
and
how's
how
that
bad they
turnaround?
were for
Yeah.
like the first month or so after they got Colleton.
Yeah. And
Patrick Kane is just trying to will them into playoffs.
basically, have you seen that Eric Gustafson too?
No.
He's basically point per game this season.
Wow.
And I think in the last 38-ish games, he's got 38 points.
Wow.
He's the second highest scoring defenseman over that stretch.
And Strome and DeBrincat have kind of got their junior chemistry back.
Yeah, and DeBrincat's about to set a record for like most goals by his 21st birthday or whatever it was
Wow.
in
Yeah,
Chicago.
and then they got Crawford back, and he got a shutout, I think, last night.
Yeah,
or
he's been-
the night before.
He's been Corey Crawford. He's been unreal.
Yeah, they definitely missed having a good goalie.
Yeah.
I think D'Elia had some moments of brilliance, but I saw some reports that his rebound control was a bit shaky. So sending him back down to the minors should be good for his development.
Very. Especially, I mean, if they need any story, is the story of Corey Crawford in Chicago, who never really made the team until he was in his late 20s.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the new story with him is going to be concussions.
yeah.
Because he's battled them before, and I know on this last one that they asked him, like, "You sure you want to keep playing?" I have no issues. I'm going to continue to play.
Yeah.
So,
You always wonder, but you also have to place faith that the doctors and the player aren't gonna like risk their future for that.
yeah, but just knowing, like, the mindset of an athlete, they're going to keep playing no matter what.
Yeah, and
That's
the
all
pressure.
they know how to do.
Yeah,
So they want to just, that's their life, right? So
exactly. And
Gonna wanna
we've
keep
seen in
playing.
the past how the team kind of pushes players back, like to push players to play through it. That's kind of the expectation,
yeah,
and it kind of sets this weird mindset that the player can't like put their foot down and say like, "Okay, I'm hurt, I can't play."
yeah. I saw a report that Ryan Kessler might be done for the season. He just passed 1,000 games, and I think he might be done for good.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last week. How he's basically he's just broken at this point.
Yeah, so I think he might be hanging him up, not with a bang, but with a whimper, sort of, because
Yeah,
kind of just played when he could, wasn't playing really that great, hit his milestone. I think that milestone must have been pretty important to him. And
I have to imagine after he gets so
and
close.
now he's just taking it off.
Did
Like,
they say what the injury was? Was it that hip?
probably the hip? I just saw a report that said Ryan Kessler is out for the rest of the season,
Yeah.
or something like that.
I have to imagine that's probably it, unless it's something that can be fixed and he kind of comes back for a little bit, gives it a go in training camp in the preseason.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, he's gonna have a long off season to heal.
And
Anaheim.
at this point, what's the real point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
so-
It was like last year. I mean, Clefbaum had been playing hurt in Edmonton all season with a screwed up shoulder, and as soon as the Oilers were kind of more mathematically eliminated, they shut him down
yeah.
like a month early or something.
Might as well, right? There's
Exactly.
no real point to continue to potentially aggravate the injury and make it worse.
Yeah. And when the player's playing at like 25%, they can
Yeah,
barely
like
get on the ice.
Puljujärvi, 50%.
Old man
Yeah.
hips over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we can look at the West's division leading spots just to kind of see, because it's not a race for which, it's just kind of figuring out the placement. So in the Pacific Division, Calgary's at 95, San Jose's at 94. They both have the same amount of games played.
Right.
That's going to be a good race, and that's going to be competitive because, like I talked about last week, they're not going to want to play Vegas in the first round
Definitely not.
versus whichever of Dallas, Arizona, Minnesota, or Chicago stumbles into the West wild card.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want to play Vegas. For sure.
That's just going to be the worst. That's going to be such a hard matchup.
I would like to see San Jose play Vegas again.
Rematch?
Yeah.
I think so.
Because before Vegas played San Jose, they played LA, right?
Yeah, they swept LA,
San Jose gave them a bit more of a fight.
but
So
not enough.
yeah, I'd like to see them go at it again.
Yeah. And it'd just be a good series. Because San
Well,
Jose's high-powered offensive.
And you'd have Carlson, the good Carlson, the best Carlson.
How many Carlsons in that series?
Versus Stone.
Oh, that would be...
That would
That's
be
a good
very
story.
interesting.
Media people, that's a good story. Get on that.
Yeah. So you'd have.
But with Calgary, you'd have Stone against Stone.
That's true. That's very true. Brothers.
Yes. And the other Stone is now back. I just saw that he came back
Yeah.
from a blood clot that had been bothering him for months.
Yeah, so that series you'd have Eric Carlson, Melker Carlson, William Carlson.
Yep.
Isn't there another Carlson on the Sharks
I
too?
feel like there is.
I'm pretty sure they have 3.
I feel like there has been or is at some point, and I can't remember. Is it the one that they just traded for?
I think.
Or did the one they give up to Vancouver?
I don't know.
How was that trade? Dallin for a Carlson, I think.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
So they might only have 2 now.
Okay. Well,
so
that's
how
still
much
3.
do you think they would need to give up to get John Carlson?
A lot.
Would it be Eric Carlson?
Probably. What would they want? Maybe Timo Meyer.
Yeah. I mean, they need a defenseman to replace, but Timo Meyer is a good young forward scoring guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to lose John Carlson. He just signed that giant contract.
I don't want to think about this.
I wouldn't want Eric Carlson. Although the Caps were in rumors last year about being in on him.
I remember that, and we were all kind of confused, like, how are they going to fit him under
what
the
the
cap?
fuck? What are they going to give up for him?
Yeah, that's a bit of a reach.
Yeah.
But I guess then we see what San Jose gave up for him, and you realize it might not have been as bad as we thought.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'd like to see either of those matchups would be good.
Oh, for sure. And, here's another thing that's going to be, we'll talk about Calgary now. And what's going to be really, really fun to watch them in the playoffs is this amazing third period they have going on in their season. So right now, in third period of all of their games, Calgary has a plus 50 goal differential. So currently, their game breakdown per period, in the first period, they have 70 goals for and 70 goals against. In the second period, 76 goals for, 73 against. And in the third period, 105 goals for, 56 against.
It's just crazy how it breaks down like that.
I can't believe, I saw that. I knew they had a high goal differential, but I didn't realize how even the other 2 periods were. And it's just this anomaly third.
Yeah, so they're pretty equal through the first 2 periods, and then they switch into like fucking top gear in the third period.
Exactly. And I know some of that is due to like a handful of really high scoring third periods where they put up like 6 or something. But even you count 4 of those in, they're still plus 25 compared to plus 3 in the other 2 periods combined. So I was thinking about this, like, how is this going to, this is going to be huge for their confidence going into the playoffs. And how is this going to affect how teams approach them in the playoffs too? Because you think about how Calgary comes out storming in the thirds, like, our team's going to be able to sit back and protect the lead like they always do.
Yeah, plus if they play so well in the third, like if you if you come out fast, you might be better off to save some of that energy for the third period to
Yeah.
defend against
Yeah, game
Calgary.
management's going to be huge to maintain that.
So
that
do you
pressure.
want to get out ahead and have a few goals, or do you want to just try and battle it out and keep it low scoring, and then I don't know.
Yeah. And to think
And-
about this from Calgary's perspective, like, how's that for confidence? They
Yeah.
know going into a third period down 1 that they're, oh yeah, we can go score 6 goals. We've done it in the past.
Yeah, and
Johnny,
also,
where you at?
but does that translate to playoffs, right? Like, it's a different beast, so I don't know.
It's hard to say, but it's
How much playoff experience do they have on that team?
not much.
Because they made it. Did they made it recently? They made it what, like 3 years ago?
I'm pretty sure. Well, they made it the last. No, they didn't last year. I don't think they didn't make it last year. They did the year before because they got swept by Anaheim in the first round.
Right, and then Anaheim played Edmonton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't think they made it last season.
No, I think Winnipeg was the only Western Canadian team in it.
Yeah, so they made it a couple years ago. They've got a little bit of experience, but I think most of their core is younger.
So this was Giordano.
Giordano, Mike Smith took Arizona or Phoenix, I guess at the time, to the conference final, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
he's got like
else?
16 playoff games or something.
So they don't have a lot of experience, but they've got that youthful energy and confidence that might help.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a lot of really well performing forwards. I don't think it'll be an issue for them to be in playoffs. Like, I don't think they'll have that nervousness.
No.
Just coming off such a dominant season.
Yeah, I mean they were expected to be in the playoffs, but not the division lead.
Yeah, definitely not. So,
I penned them in as a wild card, as a for sure wild card team, maybe third division.
I think it's going to come down to goaltending for them
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
playoffs. If Mike Smith plays, if he plays like he did in that Phoenix team to get
If Mike
to the
Smith
conference
can bring
finals,
back
or
some
if
of that
he's
old
like-
magic.
like he plays now,
Yeah.
or if Riddick plays, if he can play like he has in the season, or if he plays shitty.
Yeah, and that's all it takes is
'Cause I
goalie
think that's,
sucks.
isn't that what happened when they had Elliott? They just let in like the worst goals. Isn't that what happened when they played
Yeah.
in playoffs last?
I think a lot of it was
Soft, weak
Yeah.
goals and demoralizes a team. So-
team loses confidence in the goalie and suddenly they can't play.
If they can wear those classic like 80s Flames jerseys,
Like those red and yellow.
those are up there for best jerseys in the league.
I do like them.
and that's saying a lot as an Edmonton fan.
It
to
really
admit
does. I like to think I'm pretty objective in opinions on things, so I
Those
try to see
jerseys
things.
are pretty dope.
Yeah, it's really funny how many teams had like really cool jerseys through like the 80s, early 90s, and then that early 2000s stage when like all these logos started popping up and different color schemes just showed up, and you end up with like that horse stampede head that Calgary had.
Yeah, that's
And-
weird. I had one of those as a kid.
Really?
Yeah,
That's gross.
I had a family member who would buy me jerseys all the time.
Okay.
And they bought me one of those Calgary horsehead ones, the black ones. And then they also bought me a black Chicago Blackhawks one, which is actually, I wish they bring that back.
Black.
It has
I
the
think
it
so.
has the regular logo, but it's black.
I think I remember that.
And it has like red and white stripes on the bottom and on
Yeah.
the sleeves.
I think that was like the
fucking cool
Tony
jersey.
Amonte, Eric Daze days.
Yeah, they're fucking cool jerseys.
I agree.
I mean, like any original six team, their jerseys are just
Refined.
they're
over
just
years,
classics. Like you can't go wrong. I hate the Rangers. The jerseys are dope.
That,
Leafs
that's like
jerseys
the
are
one
nice.
crest
Habs
logo.
jerseys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Rangers crest is cool,
Yeah, that's the
And
one crest
their-
logo I don't mind.
and their angled lettering is cool, and that's been copied all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they were
as
the
well.
first to do that, but it looks nice.
I think a lot of those early teams had words. Like, I mean, look at the St. Pat's.
Yeah.
The older
And, like,
style was more like
arenas and-
handwritten team name.
Yeah, it was probably easier to sew than the logo would be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, just the Rangers. It's just a classic. I mean, you picture Messier and Gretzky and like
I
Brian
mean,
Leach.
I see them in different jerseys, but
Yeah, well, Brian Leach.
Brian Leach was an Oiler technically.
Oh yeah,
I'm not even kidding.
Really?
He was technically an Oiler for a very short period of time. He never played.
Oh, okay.
I think it was
Well, there you
it was
go.
like a trade for him and then flip him, or he left before they signed him or something. It was like a
Okay.
trade rights. It was when he went from, I think it was when he went from New York to Toronto.
Oh,
Like Edmonton traded for his rights and then he never signed and went to Toronto.
yeah.
Something like that.
And Detroit's one of my all-time faves. I love their jerseys.
I like their logo.
It's just cool.
It is. It's a
Right.
cool design, and you actually you see what it is. You think it's just a wing, but then you look closer and it's like a wheel, like the Motor City,
Yeah.
and it's got the flames and it looks cool.
The isn't it feathers?
But it looks like a plane, right?
Yeah, it looks like
It's
a
a
tire
wing.
on fire.
Of course, it's a
It's
tire.
a very suiting image for Detroit, right? It's a
Tire.
tire on fire. No,
Yeah, like it's very
got a
clearly a
wing.
wing,
Yeah.
but it looks like a wheel with fire behind it.
I think Detroit's one of those jerseys where it's a flip up in my head between what's nicer, the white jersey or the red jersey. Because the white
Mm.
jersey's just as good, and that's not common in jerseys where
No.
you think the visitor and home jersey are equally as nice.
Yeah, I'm very strongly in favor of the colors being the better jersey.
Yeah, and I wish that you would be able to wear colors against colors if it's not a clash.
Yeah,
But yeah, Detroit, like I said, is that white jersey's just as
It's
nice.
clean.
Yeah.
it looks clean. It looks good.
And like same could be said for any of those original 6 teams. They're just classic jerseys, and back in the day when they wore white at home, it just made that impression that that's the team's jersey.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, how do we even get on this? We're talking about the Flames, those jerseys.
Flames jerseys, right?
What are your top 5 jerseys in the NHL right now?
Right now.
Active jerseys.
Ooh, active jerseys. Okay. Chicago's colors.
Yeah.
I
And-
like San Jose because they use a different type of blue, and I
You-
do like their logo.
So you like their like teal jerseys?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like their teal jerseys. I have to go Edmonton's pylon jerseys.
You like
just-
the orange?
Yeah, I do. It's a very vibrant and an intrusive orange,
Right.
but I do like it because it's just not. It's just a different color. It's just something different that stands out,
Yeah.
and I do like not having just a blue jersey.
Yeah.
Now that I've had time to grow on them, I do like Vegas's home jersey. The gray, I like the color scheme. I like the gloves.
The
I like it.
reflective,
Yeah.
like gold. Yeah. Is
I-
that 5?
That's
Or
for.
is there anything else that you really like?
I'm trying to think. That Caps alternate.
I like the Caps
Yeah.
alternate too.
It's just
A
it's
lot.
different. It's a different logo.
It's just so like 70s.
Yeah, it's
pretty
got that
cool.
retro look, but it's a different logo. It's a bit unique.
Yep. What about anything else you can think of? I know that was 5, but
Yeah, not off the top of my head.
yeah.
Those are the ones that stand out to me, anyways. What do you got?
Well, the Caps third, that retro Stars jersey. Not Dallas Stars, but the stars on the sleeves. I really like Detroit's jerseys. I'll put one of them in there. Doesn't matter which one. I like both.
All of the above.
I like Calgary's jersey, their retro jersey, and I like Edmonton's blue jerseys.
Yeah, they're alternate this season.
I wish that those were their primary jerseys. I like those a lot. That's just like Edmonton to me.
It is. It's the more traditional Edmonton
The
jersey.
traditional jersey.
That
I wish
we
they got rid of
recognize in
those.
Edmonton.
That hard. I think that orange is really hard to look at.
It is.
So I wish that they would switch because those jerseys are mint. I love those
Yeah.
ones.
I will say one more comment about those orange jerseys that I do really like. Or maybe this is just all jerseys. I've never looked too close to the numbers, but the Oilers orange jerseys have the numbers on the back have just like white spots in the blue. And
Yeah.
it looks really, really cool, and it helps. It just looks so good, and I don't know why.
It's like
What's the difference?
speckled
is.
or something. Yeah.
Okay, go on.
And to round it out, there's a few jerseys that that I really like. Maybe I'll give some honorable mentions here before number 5. I like the Wild.
Yep,
Their jerseys are just
I do.
cool. Like they're
Unique color scheme.
unique. I also like, all the classics, basically original 6.
Yeah.
And then I think number 5. I don't know. Kind of walked my way into a corner here. I think I gotta go with the Winnipeg Jets Winter Classic jersey.
Okay.
I don't know if they're using that this year, but if they are,
I don't think they played outdoor this year, but
you know what I'm talking about, right? It's the classic Jets logo.
the one they used in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, so it has like the big circle. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that logo. It's
And the
pretty
blue.
cool.
The blue, not the white. I like the blue one.
Yeah.
Those are nice. Their current alternate is complete ass though.
The baby blue with like the soft handwriting.
The color is fine, but it looks like a beer league team.
It does. I don't
It's
like
not
it.
nice. And their primary jerseys are okay. So
And it also looks exactly like Tampa Bay for some reason. I think is that the one we're getting mixed up. They look like is that Toronto? That looks like
Toronto looks exactly like Tampa Bay, or to put it more accurately, Tampa Bay looks exactly like Toronto.
Good point.
And they wore their home jerseys in Toronto when they stomped them, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I was like, which team are we cheering for here?
And speaking of that, when they got stomped by Tampa, Toronto had the worst goal against I think I've ever seen ever watching hockey.
Yes, we will get onto that when we get to the Eastern Conference. But
It was complete ass.
after this 20-minute segue of jersey talk,
Yeah.
we'll go back to the Western Conference playoff rankings to look at the Central Division. So right now we've got Winnipeg at 88 points, Nashville at 87, fighting for that division lead. So, again, I mean, Winnipeg's kind of had some trouble lately. Nashville seems to have fallen off, too, if they still haven't passed Winnipeg.
Who's in the third spot?
St. Louis at 81.
Okay.
So they've got 1-2 locked up between those two. It's just a matter of who finishes where.
Yeah, who plays who?
Same thing as the Pacific.
Oh, yeah.
So this one's just not as bad because I don't think. I mean, you probably don't want to play St. Louis if you're coming in hot, but it's not as big of a deal as Vegas, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, and I think that there's not a whole lot to say there, so we can move straight over to the East now. The Atlantic Division playoff spots are set, so they're not really a factor in the wild card. But in the Metro, we've got the Islanders holding the second wild card or the second division spot at 89 points, Pittsburgh holding the third division spot at 87, and then Carolina in the first wild card at 85, Columbus at 84 in the second wild card. So Columbus has now pushed themselves into a playoff spot, and looking down, Montreal is the first team out at 81 points.
And they play each other, I think, this week.
Columbus and Montreal.
Oh, never mind. I was thinking of... No, never mind.
Okay.
I was going to ask you about Philly, where Philly is.
Oh,
because
they're
Philly
next.
plays Montreal.
Okay, Philly's next at 76.
Okay.
So they've kind of fallen off. They're now 8 points out. I think they're probably done. But Montreal even has given themselves a bit of a gap there. Columbus has pulled away, being now 3 points up, which isn't many points, but that's you still have to win 2 more games basically than the other team to pass.
Yeah.
So Columbus is slowly putting themselves into a solidified playoff spot.
Yeah.
Which after the stumbling out of the trade deadline with their all-in mentality, almost putting themselves out of a playoff spot, is probably good news.
Who did they play last?
Carolina.
Yeah,
I think they
shut 'em
played
out.
Carolina. Bobrovsky had like 48 save shutout or something.
Yeah, it was like a career high.
Yeah. So now they're only 1 point back at Carolina for the first wild card spot, and they're only 3 back of Pittsburgh for the third division spot. So that one's gonna be interesting to see where the placements end up there.
So Islanders are in third right now?
Second
Second. Oh,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's in third?
and third.
Okay. Interesting to see if the Caps can hold on to first because they have a really tough schedule. They have to play Pittsburgh again, I think, and they play Carolina, and they play Tampa Bay twice.
Yeah. So this is where you wanted to mention how they played Tampa Bay so often.
Yeah, they just played Tampa Bay for the first time yesterday, all season, since Game 7 of last year's Eastern Conference Final.
Yep.
It's unbelievable to me that they haven't played since then.
It's crazy.
And they play all 3 of their games within the span of 2 weeks. I think that's pretty short-sighted to do that.
Well, it's so weird to not spread that out, or it just bashed them all together like that.
Yeah,
I mean, they even played Vegas like the first game or two of the season.
Yeah, I think it's pretty dumb. And Tampa's so strong. I mean, we gave them a pretty good fight yesterday. It was 6-3, I think, but that doesn't really tell the story of how close the game was.
Yeah, there were a lot of good chances, a couple of posts. So
it was like 2-0, then it was 2-1, then 3-1, then I think 3-2, and then 4-2, and then 4-3, and then when the Caps had their goalie pulled, they had a weird bounce, and
right, yeah, that one.
Tampa got an empty netter, and then they got one more.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of stanchion bounces recently here.
Yeah,
you gotta wonder why why they haven't developed like a flush standard or stanchion yet.
Yeah, it must be something with like the plexiglass. It needs like
I guess
stability or something. I don't know, but you'd think that would be a pressing issue, because you see that probably like once a month where there's just like a crazy bounce and it leads to a goal.
Yeah, it just right on the half wall, it bounces, it somehow catches the stanchion and slides right out into the slot. And
the fact that different arenas have like different bounces off the backboards and stuff, so the home team knows like
those whole thing with Joe Louis, right?
Yeah,
the boards there were lively. That was the Nick Lidstrom smashing it wide on purpose off the end boards.
Exactly. So it's just weird that it's not uniform.
Yeah,
but anyway, it's Caps have a tough schedule. I think it might be the toughest schedule as far as point percentage goes.
Yeah, so that's where it gets like skewed a bit, because they play 3 games against Tampa Bay, so of course their points percentage is going to be way higher than the rest.
But they also play, I think, like 7 games against teams in playoff position currently.
Yeah.
So
and these are important games, we'll say, if not for them, for the teams playing for the playoff spots, because Washington's got their spot pretty much solidified, unless they somehow lose every single game.
Yeah, I hope not. But
that'd be a bit rough.
Yeah, so I think it's just important for Capitals going into playoffs to beat Tampa, hopefully 2 out of 3 times now. But
if not, they're going to have a good chance to learn about the team and how to play them, because there's a very real possibility that they play again in the playoffs.
I just think it's going to be important for their psychology to beat a team that good so close to playoffs.
Yep.
Like, if we can beat the best team in the league, we can beat this team.
Of course.
Best of 7. And I also wanted to mention that Ovechkin's at 48 goals now.
Yeah, so he had a good game yesterday.
Yeah, he got 2 in that game, and he had been pretty cold for a little while, as he usually does, and then he makes like a fat push for the end of the season.
Yeah, last handful of games he usually puts up a whole bunch.
But he's been playing like really unselfishly lately. He's been passing a lot and feeding guys for like empty net goals and stuff. So he's not just goal hungry.
Yeah.
He's just getting there naturally, which is nice.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we already talked about the Metro Division for the division lead. So, I mean, Washington at 91, Islanders at 89. That's still a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
And it could go either way if the Islanders kind of pick it up again.
I mean, who's in wildcard 2 spot? Who's
Columbus.
Could
You'd be more worried about wildcard 1. Because Tampa Bay's going to be wildcard 2.
Yeah,
so you're looking at Carolina right now.
Okay. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I think so.
You mentioned the Atlantic being kind of all wrapped up, but I wanted to mention that Toronto has been pretty bad lately.
Yeah. So
and we mentioned they got that fucking ridiculous goal scored against them.
Oh man, that was terrible.
Shorthanded.
So first, we'll say like Tampa Bay's pretty much got the President's Trophy locked up. They've got like a almost a 20-point lead
Or
over
like
Boston.
130 points right now or something.
Why not? Yeah, they've got like a 20-point lead on second in the league, like pretty much. So, the Atlantic Division 2 spot is Boston at 95, and now Toronto's 4 points back at 91. So, Boston doing great as usual.
Yeah.
Toronto stumbling into the playoffs at the end of the season here. They're really
Yeah, I mean,
not looking
the
good.
next closest is Montreal, and they're what?
81.
Yeah,
So
so
they've got their spot locked up, but
lucky for them, nobody else in the Atlantic is making a push because
Yeah.
they're not doing well. And you see like all these players complaining about the playoffs format and stuff because it's affecting them now, but it's been affecting the Metro for fucking the last 10 years.
and the Central for the last 3 or 4.
However, I mean, the Metro hasn't been a thing since 10 years, but
Since it started, basically.
yeah,
This
it's
format.
been crazy. You've had Capitals, Penguins fans complaining about this every year, and now it's affecting Toronto fans, so it's a problem.
Yeah, so now it's an issue.
But
We can just go back a week.
Yeah,
Like, they played Tampa Bay about a week ago.
at
got
home, wore
shit
white,
stomped.
got shit stomped.
And I think it was capped off by this shorthanded change. They were shorthanded, or were they?
They were on the power
they were
play.
on the power
Toronto was
play.
on the power
Okay.
play. They were in Tampa's zone. Riley had the puck at the blue line. He kind of got hooked up a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but he lost. He kind of like flubbed his pass.
Yeah.
Tampa took possession. Absolutely, they had started skating down the ice. They dumped it into Toronto's zone, into the if you're Tampa, the right corner, the far right corner. Everybody but Riley on Toronto changed for some reason.
which was really, really, like, you can like, they weren't even looking at the play. They couldn't have seen what happened.
Yeah,
they just
and
meandered
it's
off
their
to
number
the
one
bench.
power play. So I think it was Marner, Matthews, Tavares, and I don't know who else plays on the left point or right point or whatever, but left point, I guess. So anyway, they all changed, and Riley's the only one left. So Tampa sees that. So what would have been a one-man forechecking the puck turns into 3 men going to the puck.
Like, how do you give up a 3-on-1 short-handed?
Yeah. So they beat Riley to the puck. They skate behind the net. They pass it out front. And they have a triangle going on. So the guy gets the puck, passes it to the right post. He just taps it in.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It was the dumbest play I have ever seen.
A 3-on-1 shorthanded because of they forechecked and got the puck.
Yeah.
A 3-on-1 on a forecheck.
Like, I'm
On a
someone who has
dump in?
seen Patrick Stefan miss the empty net. I saw Sergei Kostitsyn do that controller disconnect where the entire bench was yelling at him to, like, go chase the puck, and he changed instead.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen some really dumb plays, but that was the dumbest thing I have ever seen a team do.
Yeah, it's worse because it's a team thing.
And, like, this is your number. Yeah, it was a whole
and
team.
you
It was a
leave
whole
your
line.
D-man to just face that. And, I mean, you can put some blame on the goalie as well because he didn't go to play the puck.
Yeah, very true.
I mean, if he was on the ball, he probably would have stopped it before the goal line, so he played in the outside that trapezoid.
Yeah.
But he didn't because I guess Tampa was coming with speed.
Mm-hmm.
They were ragging it.
We
so
now know.
I'll mention.
Yep.
And they beat him there. So it's a team-wide fuck up because Riley, when he was skating back, was looking right at the ref, complaining about that missed call.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else skated on. Goalie didn't play the puck. Tampa just took advantage. You can't do that against that good of a team.
No, you can't do that against any team.
Yeah.
It's just worse. It's just Tampa's basically a guaranteed goal where Ottawa might not be.
That does not look like a team that's sitting in a playoff spot to me.
No, 5th in the league.
How do you let that happen on the power play?
Yeah.
That is the worst short-handed goal I've ever seen. I mean, it
I
could be
can't
argued to
believe
be the best, but when you have
Depends
a
on your
team just
perspective.
change, that's like, again, beer league shit.
Yeah.
That is exactly men's league
It's
hockey.
Like, yeah, men's league forwards. Puck's out of the offensive zone. I'll head off now.
Fuck it. You deal with the D-man.
What's defense?
Yeah. So if I was fucking Riley, I'd be pissed off.
Well, Hainsey was too. That's why, because I originally thought Hainsey was on the ice because the commentator was talking about how pissed Hainsey looked on the bench.
So he must not have been on that. I don't think he's got on the power play.
I doubt it.
I don't know.
That was just a terrible.
Who his partner was on that, but whoever was playing like the other
I
point.
feel like they might
what
throw
the
Matthews
fuck?
on the point. The shot, anyways.
Well, what is their number one unit? You've got
Riley, Matthews, Marner, Tavares,
fifth guy.
Nylander. That one probably.
No,
varies.
Nylander's on unit 2.
Okay, maybe Kapanen for speed.
I think Kapanen was hurt.
Okay, I'm just naming off the few players.
Because
on
I mean,
Toronto.
it would probably be like Gardner when he's not hurt, right?
Yeah,
But he is hurt, so maybe it was like Zaitsev or no, Zaitsev's right-handed and so is Riley, I think. So I don't know.
well, Zaitsev's a forward, anyways. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So,
it's
and
just
I mean,
fucking brutal.
you had that play, that terrible play, and then through the rest of the week, that they've just been mediocre. I
Yeah.
mean, they lost to Ottawa yesterday.
Yeah, and it was a kind of a blowout too, wasn't it?
It was 4-1 at the end of the second. I didn't see after the third, but that's the worst team in the league, and you're heading into the playoffs
And
getting
you can't beat him.
yeah.
I was worried when the Capitals played Ottawa the day after the trade deadline, because the Capitals went down 2-0, but then they stomped them like 6-2
Yeah, they
or
scored
something.
like 6 straight goals.
Yeah, but Toronto just never did. And Zach Smith had a funny quote where he said, it was in Ottawa, so there's obviously a lot of Leafs fans there.
Yeah.
So Zach Smith said, "Yeah, we scored early and we took the fans out of it."
Yeah, and you
pretty
just do a double take, and then like I joked about that later too with you because Edmonton played in Arizona later
Yeah.
that night, and Edmonton scored first, and like of course there's a lot of Oilers fans down in Arizona watching hockey,
Yeah,
so you would think that in the home rink the away team scoring would be kind of a crowd muffler, but now Edmonton and Arizona, Edmonton scores first. There's quite a lot of
Yeah.
cheering.
yeah, it's pretty funny.
Same thing in Ottawa. A lot of Leafs fans send score first. A lot of cheering.
Yeah, I think Toronto, it might be a case of just like too many injuries at once, because I think like Gardner's out,
Yeah, Gardner, Dermott.
Dermott is out, and Kapanen's out, but you still can't do shit like that.
No.
Basically a full line change.
Yeah, and
on a,
Arizona, how many injuries they dealing with?
Yeah.
They're not doing that.
yeah,
That would not happen in Arizona.
yeah, and you're too much of a top heavy team to be losing that badly.
Yeah, and you're too top heavy to have your top lines doing that.
Like, I don't want to compare them to the Caps all the time, but like Ovechkin plays left point on the power play. He wouldn't even do that.
No.
He wouldn't even do that. Like
No,
he's
he
played
goes-
that
no, he go
position
back
long
check.
enough to be like to back check, and he's actually pretty good. Like yesterday, in that game against Tampa, he had like a crazy back check,
Yep.
and
He was the goalie when they gave up the empty netter.
yeah, he was willing to sacrifice
He
the
just
body.
stood in front of the
He's
net.
been
to be
goalie
fair,
a
but-
lot actually. Like he's made some sweet saves.
Yeah, well, he ends up in that position, so he just
Yeah.
naturally goes there.
Yeah,
So-
but it's just, I don't know. That was just the most bullshit move I've ever seen. And I don't think the coach was calling them for a change. I think they all just went. Because
Yeah.
they were tired.
They
or
probably just saw the
something.
puck go down. Yeah, we're done. See ya.
Yeah. It's
So-
like that whole slingshot thing, too. It's like, I hate that.
Yeah.
Teams are starting to like catch teams doing that.
Oh yeah, because you see the shorthanded team is
It's
now
just like
pushing
the
forward a little
repetition
bit.
of a power play. Like, you do the slingshot.
You do the same thing enough, and teams will eventually learn how to
Yeah,
push
you're
that.
totally right. That's all they did is they just saw the puck go down. They thought the goalie would get it in the D-man, so they do a quick change. It's just like, okay, well, maybe see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's probably enough shitting on Toronto.
Never
So
enough.
it's never enough. To an extent. I think this was an appropriate amount, though.
Yeah.
So, how about we do some more a quick talk about the Department of Player Safety here.
Again,
Um,
yeah.
Chris, highly cerebral humanoid Kreider, got a fine for, I'd say, recklessly throwing his arms back and elbowing Pedersen in the face.
Yeah, dumb.
Like that, you were wondering last week how you headshot someone from behind. Well, there you go.
Yeah, swing your elbow into their face.
If you swing your arm back like you're a fucking Ferris wheel.
yeah,
and he
that's
gets a fine.
Was it a max fine though?
I don't even know. I think it was like,
Probably the max fine.
yeah, it's usually a max fine.
That makes everyone feel better.
Yeah.
Like the minimum fine.
Yeah. The maximum fine of $4,000. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty dumb. Like, you recklessly swing your arm into someone's head, and that's not suspension worthy, but protecting yourself.
Yeah, but Voracek standing there and turning a little bit is 2 games.
And that's a big 2 games for a team trying to make playoffs. Big.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
he had to miss that game against the Caps.
and they lost.
Yeah.
And now they're 5 points out. No,
Yep.
wait. 8. I looked at the wrong team.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was dumb. But what can you expect, right? Like, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, we thought, okay, they want to set a stronger precedent for high contact, and let's see where this goes. And less than a week later, they go and do that. So much for consistency and all of that.
Yeah, I'll fine you for 1 shift's worth of ice time.
Yeah. You showed up to the rink today, so you put in your equipment. That's about the right amount of time there.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool.
Pretty dumb.
And here's more dirty plays. You saw Getzlaff hit McKinnon into the post yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you watch the video about that?
Pretty dumb.
Just cross checks him in the back right into the post.
Who, me?
Yeah, and then he has the audacity after to go like, what did I do?
Yeah, I didn't do anything. That was a dive.
He jumped into the post back first.
You're gonna call that?
First. Like,
You're gonna call that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Coming from the captain that very frequently on their own team's broadcast is complimented for his standing up to players in the team diving and embellishing calls.
That's not Ducks hockey. Cross-checking people from behind into posts is Ducks hockey.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's more appropriate.
Yeah. Pretty ridiculous.
I couldn't believe that.
I mean, they're not even close to playoffs, so.
Yeah.
What more can you ask from them?
Yeah, they'll just fuck shit up.
Just try and hurt star
Pout.
players
Yeah, start pouting.
of teams that still might have a chance.
Yeah, Colorado's 6 points out.
Yeah, I mean, that's not
It's not unreal.
undoable.
Unrealistic, I mean.
It's not unreal. I mean, that's true, too. It's not the best situation to be in.
I stopped halfway through the word.
Yeah. It's not something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess, too, I also wanted to mention Connor McDavid last night got, or not last night, he got 100 a few games ago, or a couple games ago, I mean. He hit 100 points for the 3rd straight season.
Wow.
So the first time since Ovechkin in 08, 09, and 10. So.
Good company.
Yeah, that is. And I think the other one was like Jeremy Roenick before that.
JR.
Yeah. But that might have just been because it was like a Chicago broadcast or something. I can't remember why he ended up on there. But
Yeah. Yeah, it's very impressive.
yeah, man, I mean, he's done it on 2.
So just in case you
Bottom half
didn't
teams.
know, Connor McDavid is pretty good.
He's okay. He has his moments, I think.
Yeah. He's got a lot to work on.
Yeah.
He's kind of a one-dimensional player.
he's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
But-
not a generational talent
No,
or
not at all.
anything, though.
He's not easily the most
He's
talented
no Chris
player in the league.
Kreider. He's
Yeah.
no cerebral humanoid.
Yeah, he's not highly cerebral yet.
He might be cerebral, but he's not highly
Yeah.
cerebral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, still wouldn't say he's the best player in the league. I think
I think
he
it's-
is easily the most talented player. But I think Crosby's still the best.
Yeah.
It's just
I
that
think it's just like a coin flip.
yeah,
Who's the best? It
Yeah.
depends how you rate them.
depends on the
What
time of the
metrics
season.
you're using.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I factor in that experience and maturity factor that Crosby's got, that he seems to be
And
able
leadership.
and leadership, that he just takes the team on his back. Not to say that McDavid doesn't, because he is the entire team to begin with, but Crosby can just turn it up a notch and kick it in and go into overdrive.
Yeah.
And suddenly Pittsburgh's gone from borderline wild card to 6-point lead on a divisional spot.
Yeah, I think where Crosby has McDavid is the fact that everybody that plays with Crosby has insane seasons. Everybody.
Yeah.
And McDavid, I mean, he makes everybody better, but I don't think it's to the degree
No.
of Crosby.
No, it's not.
Because McDavid does a lot of solo plays where it's like, holy fuck, who else could do that in the league? But Crosby's like, holy shit, who could make that pass?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where I think McDavid is the most talented, that he can do the most he's got the most skill and he can do the most with the puck. He's the fastest, like
Yeah.
all of that. But I think Crosby, for like those types of reasons, is still the best.
Yeah, like if you wanted to pick one player to do one thing, like one-on-one or something, it'd be McDavid. But if you
Easily.
wanted to pick someone to like build a team around to go to the cup, probably be Crosby.
That one would even be hard because you got the age factor. If you're trying to like build a team around somebody.
I think Crosby's intangibles just pushes them over the edge.
Yeah,
just
you
having
give
been
up,
there,
you give up like the 10
won
years,
like everything. Yeah.
You give up 10 years of best player in the league or most talented player in the league over the maturity factor.
Yeah. Yeah. If you had one shot at it, I think you'd pick Crosby.
Yeah.
Like 1 year.
So one year, I think so. Yeah.
But long term, I mean, you'd want McDavid because
Yeah.
so
If you're building a franchise, if you're building like a franchise, you probably go McDavid for the long term.
Yeah.
But you go for the single season, you go fantasy team Crosby.
Yeah, like say they're both UFAs at the end of the season and it's trade deadline, and you need one more player. Probably go Crosby.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be like the hardest decision ever, but
Oh, for sure. And there is no right answer. It's really, like you said, like how you measure it and which factors are more important to you.
yeah. So I don't know if we mentioned it last time, but Crosby hit 1,200 points. Ovechkin recently hit 1,200 points, and Malkin hit 1,000.
Yeah, and it's just, all within a couple of games of each other. They all broke in the league at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is really cool that these guys are all competing, like establishing their all-time legacies, and they're setting milestones. Didn't Ovechkin and Malkin do it in the same game?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's so cool.
Very cool. And then there was like this clip that everybody was saying like Crosby was congratulating Ovechkin on hitting that milestone.
Right.
But it looked like they were like gonna scrap at the beginning, and then like you could see like Ovechkin had his arm around Crosby's neck, and you could see him like look at him and be like, "Oh, thanks" or something. So just
bitter rivals.
Yeah, but they've always had like that respect for each other, and they've never really like trash talked each other.
Yeah. Might get some heat of the moment garbage, but that's just normal.
Yeah, like
ultimately they both highly respect each other for what they've done. And
yeah, and you have like the cool stuff where like at the All-Star game, Crosby gave that puck to that kid wearing the Ovechkin jersey, and then recently one of the Humboldt survivors met both Crosby and Ovechkin probably at the same game. He's wearing like a Crosby jersey, and Ovechkin took a picture with him.
Yeah.
And when they're in Toronto at the Hockey Hall of Fame, there was this kid that wanted a picture with the Capitals, and he was wearing like a Pittsburgh hat. And Ovechkin, like right before the picture was taken, he just like took the kid's hat off.
That's funny.
Just funny stuff that, but it's like all in good fun. It's not like, oh, I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, which is cool. Like that's the type of sportsmanship
it's
that
cool to have
you like in hockey.
That caliber of players who've entered the league at the same time, and it's always been a storyline like who's better, and they're just hitting milestones at the same time. And Crosby's obviously done it in a lot less games because he's been injured so much, but it's gonna be a sad time when they both retire. And
I kind of worry every year or two about Crosby, because you never know. Like I'm not the doctor. I'm not involved with the team. I don't know what his health status is at, but like just the amount of concussions, and they're kind of saying like if you have one or two more, like you're not going to be able to come back. So you always kind of wonder if like how much of his career he's going to have to retire early on.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll enjoy him while he's here because he's an absolute treat to watch. And somehow he's like the most skilled and best grinder of NHL history.
Yeah, he's the best like
which is
power forward of all time.
Like you wouldn't think like a player that plays like he does would be as good as he is.
He's so good in the corners.
Yeah.
He's just a thick boy. So.
Very.
Yeah, he's super grindy, makes insane passes.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's so good, is like he gets into that shit, but he can like find somebody with the puck from that position.
Of course.
Yeah. So congratulations to all three of those guys on hitting those milestones.
Yeah, it's huge stuff.
Yeah.
And I think with that, we've exhausted the list of things that have happened in the league. And,
that's absolutely everything that happened.
nothing else that we didn't talk about. Nothing else happened. All that
nothing
is
else
fake news.
matters. It's all fine.
Yeah. So once again, thank you all for listening.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Happy St. Patty's Day. Yeah. Go drink those green alcohols. And follow us on, we got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and keep up to date when we upload new episodes, put up a couple blog posts maybe, and see what's going on during the week. So talk to you guys later.